Hi there, Kayla here from Vine Skills, and today I wanted to take a moment to talk with you about the new sidebar feature that was announced at Lex 2023. So you've probably seen by now that this little sidebar has popped up in your Filevine, and you're going, what do I do with this sidebar? Well, it is a really cool feature that's going to allow you to have conversations, create notes, and tasks all right from the sidebar without having to, switch from project to project. So when you're working and you have a new idea or you need to communicate with a team member, you can go right down to the sidebar instead of having to switch projects, create a note and activity or a task and activity and get all off track. You can do everything from the sidebar. So it's a really cool feature. So you're going to see the sidebar down at the bottom here, and this sidebar can be moved, so you can move it around. You can also expand the sidebar using the little caret to see the main menu. You can collapse it, and you can also use the little minus symbol to completely minimize it if you want to get it out of your way, if you're, looking at different fields and projects that are overlapping with it or something like that. So I'm just going to open mine back up here. And as you can see, all of the items are going to be sorted by your active or your resolved. And they're going to be sorted by the most recent activity. So I don't have anything in my active right now, but I do have a bunch of items in my resolved that we can see. And as you can see, they're coming in by the most recent ones. This one was from 6 minutes ago, then 12, then 16. So it's coming in by the most active. So right from the sidebar, you can start a conversation. I'm going to go ahead and click on the little plus symbol here, and you can title your sidebar. So I'm going to have my conversation about Gandalf going. Gandalf is a wizard, and he gets into lots of accidents, hazard of the job. So I need to talk to my friend here, Jake, about it, who's my team member who's working on the case with me. So I'm going to also add him. And then I'm going to go ahead and click add to sidebar. So that started my conversation box for me. And down here I can write my message. Check out Gandalf's project. And I can send that. So once it's sent, here's the conversation. I can go back out of it if I want to using the little arrow. And here you can see in my active conversations, this conversation popped up. I can click back into it if I want. I can click on the ellipses and add someone if I needed to. See how it gives me the option to search and add other team members. So, if you're working on a case and all of a sudden you need to alert, the accountant about a check or something like that, you're able to add team members as that conversation goes on. Additionally, you're able to create tasks right from the sidebar, which is a really cool feature. You can go down here and click on the little @ symbol. You can search for the project. You can then write your message. Here is a sidebar task. From there, you can assign it. I'm going to assign it to Jake. And you can also set the due date. So I'm going to put mine out for the 17th. And then it'll say, we'll send this task to the Gandalf the Great project, and you can post it. So a couple of different things happen here. You're notified within the conversation that a task was created. The task link pops up here. And then also, if we go back to Filevine and we refresh our activity, you're going to see here's my task that I just put into Jake. It retained that it's to Jake, and it's got the set for date there. So that is a really cool feature. Additionally, you can create notes. So if I go down here to the little sticky note, I can search for the project again. Here is my note. It's going to tell me that it's going to send this as a note. I'm going to post it. Again, it tells me that a note was created. It gives me the note link. If I refresh my page, here's my note that I just created in the sidebar. Now, if I was on the other end of this and I was Jake and I was like, hey, the Vine Skills team is putting in all these tasks and notes and I want to go right to them and see them, I can click on that link at the top. It's going to take me right into that specific task or note within the activity feed. So if I minimize this here, you can see here, it actually filtered it right down for me and brought me specifically to that task. So that is a really cool feature. You don't have to go here and filter yourself or search through your own tasks. You're going to be able to click on that link and go right to the task itself. Additionally, I'm just going to get rid of my filter here. If I'm working in my project, so we're going to kind of do the flip side here. If I'm working in my project and I, have a note going on, such as this related notes test. right? And I'm like, oh, I need to let Jake know right away. Maybe some hobbits got into an accident, and I need to let him know that there are now other projects that are going to be related to Gandalf. So I could go ahead and click on this add to sidebar, and you're going to see this little kind of flashed message pop up down here. And then when I expand it again, you can see here that it put in a note, Vine Skills team added related notes test to the conversation. Now, if I go up here, I kind of did it a couple times as part of my test here today, but I could go ahead and click on this, and it's going to take me right to that note that I just added into my sidebar conversation. So another really cool feature, you can be working in a project and add it right into your open sidebar conversation. A note, a task, anything that gives you this little add to sidebar icon, you can add it right into that open conversation. Now, going back, if I am not in a conversation, so I'm not clicked into this conversation, I can actually start a new one based on a note or a task. So I'm just going to scroll down to a random note here. And I can click on add to sidebar. From there, it's going to pop the sidebar open for me. I can go ahead and title this again, maybe litigation convo. I can add a team member, and I can add to sidebar, and I can say, hey, check out this note. And I'm going to go ahead and send that. And here's my new conversation. If I go back here, you can see that new conversation was added to my active. I can click in, I can go check out this note, and I can respond back and forth with my team member. Now, if we're getting to the point where, hey, this conversation's wrapped up, we've talked about everything we needed to, time to get it, out of my active, I can go over to the ellipses and I can click on resolve. From there, it's going to mark it as resolved, and then it's going to push it down into my resolved conversation. So I don't have a bunch of things clogging up this active if we're not talking about them anymore. Additionally, I know that I've had a couple of questions personally about, hey, what happens if I'm getting too many notifications? I'm like, hey, I've got my feed going, my tasks going, my personal email going. You can actually choose to turn these sidebar notifications off. It's going to actually disable the notifications until tomorrow. Otherwise, you have the option to come in and click it again, and it will turn the notifications back on for you. So that little bell icon is going to really be the key to turning notifications on and off, or silencing them for a little bit while you're trying to focus on your work. Also, you do have the option to customize how you receive your notifications by going to the little gear icon here. When you go into that, you can update your notification preferences. So you can choose to have that little red badge icon display over the profile image. You can choose to have the notification always display as a pop-up. You can choose to have notifications in the browser tab or get browser notifications. You can also have the sidebar color blink or change color when a new conversation comes in. And then additionally, you can choose the sound of the notification. So this one is like a little door knock. We've got a little, I think this is like a chime. And then finally a sound that's kind of like a little ding ding. So you've got lots of options there as far as customizing your settings and saying, hey, I want to see this or hear this a certain way. So I really encourage you to jump in, start using the sidebar, start, communicating with your team members here. And in time, it's going to help make you even more efficient. Thank you.